Hello everybody. Today we are going to have a session. I just made a measurement of frequency response for 3 of my best decks, and I'd like to share some results with you to make sure that you will understand how I feel when I listen into these decks after upgrade. So definitely before the upgrade the sound was different, specifically for Sony decks. Sony decks has been sound like more high frequency. There was like not enough low frequencies, mid bass, and like to compensate that, in most cases you just need to use your power amplifier equalization. However, I prefer to listen all songs going straight, bypassing any sound compensation in my amplifier. So that's where I was listening to different decks. I was able to compare to get results. And today I used the program Audio Tester version 3.0 from German developer. It's trial version. Saturdays you can use it for free. So I decided to use this capability and to check my best decks. So I've got pretty interesting results and I like to share with you today. Let me adjust the camera so you would be able to better see computer screen. Okay, I hope you can hear it better, but see it better now, really. So I like to start from the worst of this 3 deck. It's a Sony 965S. It's still very good deck. So here on the screen you can see frequency response test with no tape. So you see that itself deck can respond pretty well on all range of frequencies, and the slope on the low frequencies and a little bit on the high frequencies are mostly due to audio equipment I used. I used the external audio card to record sound and like just headphones output to produce sine tones. So let's go one by one. Here is the Sony HF response. As you may see, the only difference on the frequencies are below 100 Hz. So everything else is like more or less fine, around like 1-2 decibels range. I will jump back so you may see it better. And like here we see. And as you may see here on the right side, on the high frequencies, it's even produced better frequencies due to fine-tuned automatic calibration. So it tries to adjust and have response pretty well. So, and it's the same deck with Dolby C. It's a little bit better on the mid-bass, like around 60 to 80 Hz, but it has around 1 decibel lower response between 10 and 20 kilohertz, as you can see. With Dolby S, it becomes a little bit better. So mid-range between 100 and 500 Hz looks much better. So if you would see it just right here in this region, so it's 100 Hz, it's 1 kilohertz, it's 10 kilohertz, and it's 20. So it's non-linear response. So it's Dolby C. Come on, sorry. And it's Dolby S. So, and I was able like actually audible it. So on my mind, when I listen into records made with Dolby C, those sound like kind of more on the high frequency because the bass itself, mid bass specifically, is lower. And with Dolby S, this is definitely like changes, so you just hear that all range isn't there. And as you see, even without Dolby, response is pretty nice. And here is for deck for well B right well. So it's without Dolby, so it's come pretty smooth. A little bit lower response on the high frequencies on the right deck, but it's still like about 3 decibels, which is pretty in range, and it's mostly slopes after 20 kilohertz. And with Dolby S, so the picture a little bit different, not so smooth, like more jumpy, because Dolby S compensates 2 diapasons on the lower range between 100 Hz and about 7 or 8 diapasons between 10 and 20 kilohertz. Moving on, going to the UX tape, is a Type 2 tape. It has a pretty strange response on well A. I didn't get why this slope here, so it starts out from like 25 Hz only. It's the same on deck B, you see it starts from 28 Hz. But all in all, this tape works pretty similar on both decks, with very high response range, and it goes flat beyond 20 kilohertz. And on Sony XR, which is metal tape, we have like very good response. So I will show you no tape results. So this is no tape, and with Sony XR, you see there is a just drop below 25 Hz, significant drop, and it goes straight far beyond 20 kilohertz on the record. And here is for well B, as you see, like its records around 28 Hz and above. A little bit difference between left and right channel, around like 1.5 decibel. It's in norm, like after calibration it may adjust each channel, like 1 decibel is in specification. So next deck I'd like to switch is Nakamichi DR2. So here is the response with no tape. It's very good response. It's better. Like like Nakamichi has couple decibels more output levels comparing to the Sony. So even like we have -20 here and there, you see it goes just above -30 line. Here is my card response. So it's not actual -30, it was -20. But you see how flat it is. The only drop a little bit, like around 2 decibels, is between 100 and 200 Hz here. When we go with the simple tape, so it's the simplest I have, Sony ZX. You see how flat and good response is. So it's a cheap tape, but Nakamichi does a tremendous job, I believe, like to record this kind of tape. Next one is Sony HF, and it's like basically the same response. Pretty nice. Then I believe Sony UX. Sony UX, you see it's a little bit bright. It has a high response on frequencies above 200 Hz, like +2 decibels, and on the high range it has even a little bit like higher, like +4 decibels. So that's where like Nakamichi, this deck, we can compensate with bias, but we need to listen like to tune it properly on all range using bias tune. Potentiometer, I didn't do it, I just recorded straight as this. With Sony XR metal tape, it looks better. It's almost flat on the all range, and you can see how low Nakamichi can go on the low frequencies. It goes just beyond like 20 Hz. My measurement shows like that most Nakamichi are capable to work from 12-13 Hz and above. So it's a really good job Nakamichi did. And here is the TDK MA metal tape. Has a little bit lower response on the low frequencies, but significantly higher, like +2 decibel on the frequencies above 10 kilohertz. But all in all, results look very nice, and chart looks very flat. And now I like to show my champion, which after upgrade shows the best results. It has calibration controls, and I didn't expect myself really, but it appears that all charts look the same after calibration. Take a look yourself. So it's a Sony ZX, the cheapest tape. So the only difference in charts would be here on the right hand. Like after 22 kilohertz, it started to drop quickly. With Sony HF, you see it's flattened. So here is a null tape, and it's with Sony HF tape. I just can't imagine how close it is. And then a Sony UX tape. I would not say I mentioned any difference. Just a little bit different response here below 100 Hz between two channels. But all in all, see, no tape, Sony UX tape. It's just very, very good. And Sony XR metal tape. Have you mentioned any difference? I didn't. It's almost not possible. A little bit, like less than 1 decibel in this area. That's it. So you see, Sony UX chrome tape, Sony XR metal tape, really flat. And TDK MA, a difference right here on one channel. Take a look. Sony XR metal tape and TDK MA. You see, it looks the same through the, like, any type of the tape, any vendor of the tape. Like you just see that it's completely flat and it's comparing to the source. You see, it's just unbelievable. This is my best deck so far, and I'm so happy with results of my 2 upgrades I made for this deck, that you may believe me now that when I listen into this deck, I may say that it's one of the best decks which has been ever produced. I had a different Nakamichis from the early series, like from 1979, 1980, 1982. And I would say that I like the sound. It's very specific. It has very pleasant sound and make very good atmosphere. But comparing to the original, it's not the same. So it's the same like which you get when sound comes through the deck. Definitely, if you will switch between tape and source, you would not hear the difference. But if you will compare the original song, which you have, like, for example, digitized or like on the vinyl, and then you record it on the Nakamichi deck from the early series, you would hear that the sound is different. That's what I mentioned. The first deck, when I hear like all frequencies and like that sound, like no change. It's exactly as original was my Nakamichi DR2. I did upgrade for it, and I even did a little tune up on the frequency response. So for example, here, if you will see no tape, it's you see below 100 Hz, between 50 and 100 Hz, and then take a look between 100 and 200 Hz. And before this tune, we had a gap here between 120. And there was like some empty space. I just didn't hear. It was a pretty dry sound for me. That's where I adjusted, and you may see my other video how I did it, and it's flattened it in this district, in this like diapason, and now it sounds like exactly as original. It was my first deck. I named it like digital recorder because for the sound it produced, it's just really cool. Like you cannot distinguish where is original and where is the recording. And it doesn't matter what tape you put there. Any tape, you will get the same results. It's very cool, and you may see like any tape here, and frequency response goes like above 22,000 Hz. That was I actually measure it. I use in my measurement equipment in my lab, and you may see those videos either. Then like it was a reason for my second upgrade for Sony, because despite Sony was sounding great, I hear that it's good on the low bass and bass, but there was something weird about high frequencies. When it was recording, I measured that above like 14-15 kilohertz, all frequencies after recording, like in playback, was jumping, amplitude was jumping. And like I took a discussion with my friend, who you may find on YouTube either as Amsterdam, and we come to like one idea to remove stacked capacitors, which like in the original design there was polar capacitors sit like back to back to compensate on like bipolar side. I'm not quite sure why Sony did this design. Maybe those capacitors were like kind of specific. I don't know, but when I replaced it with bipolar Nichicon Muse, it gave a pretty strange result on high frequencies. Amplitude was jumping back and forth. And like removing the second, because like if they're stacked and they're bipolar, so we don't need to have them stacked, right? Made a huge difference. Now Sony records high frequencies up to 23 kilohertz steady still, same as Nakamichi, and results are terrific. So that's what I want to tell you tonight. I hope you will enjoy this video. It's pretty interesting and good results, and I highly recommend you take a look, listen carefully, and upgrade your DEX when needed, because it's been like 40 years, 30 years since this DEX has been released. I would need to tell you that this Sony 965S has been upgraded either, so it has Nichicon Muse capacitors. That's why it produced such good sound. The only thing as you've seen on 965 that on the low frequencies it's not capable to do same response as, for example, Nakamichi. Nakamichi has higher levels that compare with Sony K5. Right. So you see yourself, right? But everything else, like high frequencies, everything is there. So you see, just measure it. Sony HF flat, with Dolby C, without Dolby C, even better response. Sony UX, Sony XR, so very nice results, really. The only struggle is on the frequencies below 100 Hz, but this is where the hi-fi DEC, even if it's the top of hi-fi series, it differs from true high-end DEC. So, and the price differs either. So, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy it, and see you soon. Bye-bye.